Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Alex Thoric is here from Building Income on Demand, and Alex's goal for you today is to help you as a small business create marketing systems and automation, as well as create a content machine so that you as a business owner can hustle less and make more money. Alex is the founder of a marketing agency and a co-founder of Building Income on Demand. He's a digital marketer. He's worked with spas, gyms, coaches, consultants, real estate, and restaurant. So we're going to have a lot of fun today talking about maybe the 7-11-4 rule, how you can get clients from ground zero and scale, all the hard things that are hard if you don't know what you're doing and if you're doing the guesswork. But if you listen very carefully to a really smart guy like Alex, who's done it, who's seen it, who knows what to do, what not to do, then you'll succeed. So Alex, glad to be speaking with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Glad to have you. So we introduced you, hyped you up, but in your own words, what are you all about? Like, just what makes you unique? What has you focused and what has you excited?
Sure. So I've been in the marketing space for the last 7 years, as you mentioned, working with many different industries, specializing in some of them. So I had my, specific years of my life where I would specialize in specific industries. And as you said, what sets me apart. So the way I would put it is based on all the clients that we've worked with. We put together a system that works every single time like wonders.
Wonderful. And we need a system, right? We need that predictability and the scalability. And that way you just have this consistent machine and you say, well, hey, I've got this offer. I've got this audience. I convert them to clients. They make money, provide the service. Everyone's happy. And so what's sort of the step-by-step process? What's the system? What's kind of the start to finish roadmap here?
So it's pretty much what we did is we looked at the best performing clients that we had, and we wanted to see what is it that we helped them with during our work together, so that they were able to get the results that they wanted to hit all the KPIs. So we realized that there are 9 steps usually that they usually go through. The first one is, so most of the times they either have some of those steps or we help them implement some of those steps, right? So the first step is the mindset in marketing and sales, because we realize it doesn't matter how many cool or great tactics, strategies, and tools we're going to show or implement. None of them will work if the mindset is not there. Then the second step, of course, is setting your goals, making sure that you hit all the goals. So the way we like to do it is we set, of course, annual goal, then we break it down to quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily goals. And when I say daily goals, I'm referring to what actions do you need to do on a daily basis to hit your weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual goals. Then after that, of course, we go into the ideal client. Based on the ideal client, we will create an offer. And now when you know who's the ideal client and the offer, now you can start creating all the marketing materials, pretty much. The content, the emails, all the good stuff.
Wonderful. And I think I mentioned it with some of my other guests. Like, I get excited when I see the cold Facebook ads, especially when it's in these industries I'm not in, when they say like, hey, are you a hypnotist? And we can get you like 30 clients by next week. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like the tangible goal and kind of like a mindset where it's almost like a scarier number than you thought. Like, oh my gosh, like I need to hire more employees to do this. I need to get all this traffic. And so what is maybe like a fun, like you're in these other different niches. What's like a fun niche, or what's like your favorite as far as kind of getting this machine working, getting them clients?
For me personally, honestly, it's I would say 2 niches: insurance and gyms. So the reason why it's insurance, because that way we help insurance agents, insurance professionals, help other people get more clients for themselves, and then of course help other people with their insurance needs, whatever the needs are, or investments. And in case with gyms, pretty much the same idea behind it, because we can help gyms, they can help more people get in shape or get more muscle, basically stay healthy. Also, another reason for the gym part, I've been practicing sports my entire life. I've been doing Taekwondo for at least like 15 years. And it's always been part of my life. So whenever I would work with the gym, I know exactly what it feels like, especially with Let's say if we talk about group training gyms, like CrossFit, kettlebell type of gyms.
Wonderful. And it's always fun to, like I said a minute ago, to dive into like some other niche where maybe like I don't have any awareness of, and to kind of like hear the secrets from you. So like, what are gyms missing, or like what are the failing or the struggling gyms missing, and what are the successful gyms have as far as marketing and all of that?
As for the marketing part, most of the times it's the content. It's content going with ads together, because most of the times they do try to run some ads, they flop, and they give up. Of course, it does take a bit of testing. I'm sure you know as a marketer. But honestly, it is a dance between content and ads at the same time. So the way we like to do it, we call it hybrid marketing, where we take content that they create, or we would help them create the content. And when I say content, I'm referring to mostly video content. So it could be short form, real type of content, like 60 seconds long, or it could be like a 3-minute video of a person explaining something. Let's say how to do a certain type of exercise, maybe, or how to prepare or how to create a meal plan. So we would take that content and we would put some ad dollars behind it and push it and target their ideal audience. Because these days, as you mentioned earlier, the 7-11 4 rule. So this was the rule created. This was basically a study created by Google. What they did is they wanted to see how much time it takes a person to go from not knowing about the company to becoming a client. So it used to be like we would always tell our clients, like, we do need to have at least 7 touches with potential customers for them to become your clients. These days, people need to consume 7 hours of content within 11 touch points throughout 4 different platforms. And when I say 4 different platforms, it could be, let's say, Facebook and Instagram, then an email and a phone call from you. So those would be like 4 in that sense. So it doesn't necessarily need to be 4 different platforms as social media platforms. So it is
That's
a mix.
very cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it is, and that's why we do it this way. So we can push the content, because you can create a lot of content, of course. There, you have a really small chance that the video, let's say, will go viral. But with this type of a strategy, we can push it targeting the ideal audience, let them consume the content first, get to know, like the person or the brand, and then we target them with the offer. And at that point, they basically build the trust.
I love it. Warming them up. What a
Yep.
concept, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's kind of mindset is helpful as far as setting expectations, because I imagine that a lot of people, a lot of gyms, especially if they don't know digital marketing that well, they might say, "Oh, well, I want to make one video, one ad, and all the customers come flowing in." But this 7-11-4 idea, it's really cool because like you warm them up, right? You can run a video, and the people that engage with that, you run
Yeah.
more ads to that,
Yeah.
get them on an email list, send them something in the mail, a phone call. And so is there like a favorite sequence of this, or does it depend on the niche or depend on the client as far as like, do this email, do this Facebook? Like, how do you like to do it?
So the way we like to do it is, first, if there's an email list, we would start using that right away. For the content part, we would take, I would say, 3 short form pieces of content. Let's see, 3 video reels. Then we would do maybe 1 or 2 longer forms of content, which would be 3 to 5 minutes long. We would take that, we would run engagement ads, honestly, $2 a day, maybe let's say $5 a day. Let the audience consume that, and then based on people who watched at least 25% of those videos, we will retarget them with the offer, and whatever the offer is. So the offer could be come in and try 1 week of free trainings. So that could be one of the offers. Maybe they would just promote the program that they have right away, or whether it's the monthly membership. And a lot of gyms, I'm sure you know of Alex Thoric.
Oh yeah.
So he started the 6-week challenge type of a thing, and a lot of gyms, a lot of group training gyms, they started doing that as well, because the idea with that is on the front end you sell the package, clients get results fast, and then on the back end, they jump on a monthly subscription, basically monthly membership.
I love it. And this is a lot of fun to think about, right? You think about like, ooh, we run the reels to them. We run the 2 to 5 things here. We do the retargeting. We do the list. We do the 6-week challenge. It's all exciting, right? And it's sometimes you have to rise above the geekiness, right? When you say, oh, well, here's this landing page, it converts at 25%, it's 2 cents a click. When you're saying like, well, all this is doable, right?
That is.
Retargeting, $2 or $5 a day, it's really doable. And also I like that how you said, well, instead of even if your gym does have the monthly thing, try to hit them with like the big offer first that gets them the results, gets them excited. And so where do you see gyms maybe going wrong with this? Where are the difficulties, or like just, what are the things not to do?
Well, a lot of them don't have a front end offer, which would be a 6-week program, basically. It doesn't have to be a 6-week program. Many gyms are using it again because of Alex Thoric. They kind of started the whole trend. It could be some kind of a front end offer. The idea behind it is that you cover all the ad costs or all the ad spend, and then on the back end you would make everything that you make is net profit. That's one thing. And then second thing is content. Honestly, using as much content as possible and recording video testimonials of their clients. And it doesn't matter which industry your listeners are from. Video testimonials make a huge difference, and especially when you can, again, you run ads promoting the content, and then if they do fill out the form to get more information about the program that you have or the services, if they don't do that, then you can retarget them with video testimonials as well. So
Cool.
Yeah, so they see you pretty much everywhere, all across the internet, all the time, nonstop, in a good way.
And it helps to kind of hear like the behind the scenes of that, because many times like we'll just get targeted in some way or another, but we'll just see little pieces of it, right? Maybe they target us with Facebook shows us the ads from the first pass and we don't engage, aren't interested, and it's the last we see of from that ad account. But it's cool to think about, okay, like you put these different things in front of someone, that way that you're always there. And so as far as the like creating the content, I'm sure that people always like come up with excuses to not do it, right? Like, oh, well, I don't have the time, or I don't have ideas. And you mentioned about like, well, how to do this certain type of like meal plan or do this certain type of exercise. And so how do you recommend people or like gyms come up with the ideas for this? Is it a matter of like common sense or looking at what other gyms are doing, or like a mix? Like what are some good kind of just ways to get content ideas?
So one of the ways that you could get ideas from is go to YouTube and then look at the biggest videos, I would say, biggest creators, and then see what kind of content they create, the topic specifically, because they already did all the legwork for you. So you can just take the topic and use that for your content that you'll be using for ads. You don't necessarily need to start a YouTube channel because that's another full-time job in a way. Another thing that you could do is go to answerthepublic.com, create an account there. You can put in 1 or 2 keywords, and you will see what people are searching for in your industry. And based on what they search for, whether it's on, you could do it on Google, YouTube, Bing, TikTok. Those would be the main platforms. And then based on those, because based on your keywords that you'll choose, answerthepublic.com will show you what people are searching for on all the different platforms. So that's something.
I love it.
Yeah, that's something that you could leverage for yourself and not try to like figure it out.
Right. You figure it out. You guess it's like up to all this random chance, but you look at the data, you look at what's popular, and then you say, oh, well, cool. That shortcut a lot of my work there. And so it's great to think about a lot of this. And so when some company comes to you and you do your work and you work your magic, like what does that look like? Like, you say you like insurance and you like gyms, but like do you have a fun story in your pocket for us just to explain like a cool before and after of like some company said, hey, Alex, we need help. we need building income on demand to do the stuff for us, and you did, and it ended up being super magical. So like, what happened there?
Sure. I could give an example of a gym, for example. Just realized that I mentioned example twice. So with this client specifically, it was Luca. So we started working before COVID with him. He was running a kettlebell club. Um, we were running this type of campaigns that I just mentioned. We had testimonials, different types of content, different types of creative. And then COVID hit. We all know what happened there. So they moved to online. Then they were allowed to do trainings outside only, either online or outside. So couldn't do it indoors. We started promoting that. Then when things, but also the great thing about this specific gym owner is that he never stopped advertising. So even during COVID, we were advertising because they were getting people and people were training online. So in that case, in that sense, things didn't really change that much. And then when things got back to normal, he was able to open his second location because of the buzz and the name that we were able to create.
Wonderful. So he survived COVID, and if anything, he thrived during COVID.
He
Did
did.
the online classes, opened the second location, and just as a layperson, like I don't think I've gone into a gym in maybe like 10 to 15 years. I ended up being just like, I like outdoors better, right? I like doing the walking and the running.
Yep.
But I used to be like a everyday at 5 a.m. kind of gym person. And so in the 2000s, it seemed like at least because like I joined some gyms around town and did like the day passes, and then I found one that I liked. It was kind of like mid-range, but I felt like when I visited the gyms and I joined a gym way back then, they seemed sort of lazy. They seemed like they were just there and they knew that people would join and they'd like join the monthly thing and get stuck and then go and use the machines. But then it seems like, as someone who hasn't been inside a gym in a long time, but I see ads all the time, and it seems like some gyms like really know what they're doing. And it seems like the whole idea of like the classes and the community and the kind of the exercise plan, it seems a lot more advanced than it was when I was back there in person. And so is it just me? Have gyms and their systems and their marketing evolved?
Oh, they definitely did, yeah. Especially for the group trainings, yeah, 100%. And whether it's, again, it could be kettlebell club or CrossFit, could be any martial arts school. Most of them are moving more towards, as I mentioned, building the community. I mean, the community was always there, but they are leveraging social media. More and more gyms are leveraging social media.
Well, fantastic.
Yeah.
And that is why they need people like you, right? They need buildingincomeondemand.com to maybe, if this gym says if they have the FOMO of saying, hey, that other gym across town, they're doing all the classes. We want some of that. We're struggling. We need to catch up. They need some of you to put forth some of these best practices. And so I want to make sure that we kind of cover the bases here. And I'm always thinking like, okay, is there a question that Alex wishes I would ask him, but I just don't know to ask him? So does anything come to mind as far as like an invisible hidden question in our conversation that I should be asking you?
If you should be asking me any invisible question, honestly, how can a business owner, I guess, because a lot of people are starting their businesses these days, especially after it happened with everything that happened after COVID. And a lot of entrepreneurs these days, they struggle with getting clients. So the main question would be how to get clients from ground zero. That's something I know that a lot of people are searching for, again, based on answerthepublic.com. We did the research. And the answer to that would be to take one platform, focus on one platform. When I say one platform, I refer to social media. So if you're on a B2B business, you should definitely be on LinkedIn, since 80% of B2B sales are done through LinkedIn. And if you're not, you don't necessarily want to use LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram are your best friends. So start creating content and start leveraging paid ads. And it could be as little as $5 a day.
Very cool. So you have to start at some point, right?
Yep.
So focus on that one favorite platform of choice, create the content, get the paid ads going, and then get some of the foundational stuff in place that we talked to. And when you're really ready to go, then have building income on demand, fill in the gaps, and get this really going. And so I want to mention building income on demand in a moment here. But before we do, one last little question to fit in is, as far as your own kind of personal journey and evolution here, Alex, like, where have you struggled? Where have you, has there ever been a point when you felt like giving up or it was really bad? Like, where was kind of your biggest struggle point?
The biggest struggle point was getting clients, but that also came with a mindset, not having the right mindset. And that's why in our program, we make a huge emphasis on having the right mindset in the business, as well as in marketing and sales. And I guess that's why I enjoy the client acquisition part, because that's something that I really struggled with. And working with over 200 private clients, we know what we're doing. Well, of course, we figure out things throughout the journey by learning from the best marketers and business owners out there. But those would be, I'd say, the two main things.
Wonderful. So get clients and have that good mindset. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, then why are you doing
Yeah.
this, right? Go get a job at IBM or something. And you
Yep.
see, like we mentioned Hormozy earlier, and I mean, he always looks like he's having fun, right? He's always like making the fun videos. And like you said, I mean, it's there's two ways to look at it, right? You could say, oh, I have to do a podcast or do this sales call. But then in the beginning of our conversation, you mentioned about, like, you're changing lives, you're transforming businesses. Without you, some of these gyms might have gone under, or these insurance people might have just been like working long hours and might have given up. And so you're making the world a better place by doing some of these things that may be hard at first, but they become easier with the practice and the systems, and you see the success and the results, and it just gets you energized and fired up. And so what is building income on demand all about? Like we mentioned a few times, demonstrated some value, but how does somebody know if they're a good fit for building income on demand, and what's the service, what's the offer?
So in case of building income on demand, the idea behind it was to create a training company where we took all the years of knowledge and experience that we've had with my business partner, and basically help service-based business owners implement systems, automated systems, as well as marketing systems inside of their business. Because we live in 2024, and a lot of people, and there's AI these days, and a lot of businesses, I should say, they don't have the right systems. Like, a lot of times we would get on a call with a potential client, and one of the first questions we would ask is, what kind of CRM do you use? And sometimes people would tell us, well, I use Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel, which is fine. At least they have something. Many times we hear an answer like, what's a CRM? So guys, if you don't know what's a CRM, you should definitely look it up. And in a nutshell, it's client relationship management, a place where you keep all the client or information of your leads, of your potential clients. So yeah, we wanted to make sure that business owners have a system, kind of everything in one place, so they can keep an eye on their business and get a 30,000 feet view, but at the same time get leads on autopilot. Of course, there's work involved. I'm not saying that you do it once and it works for you all the time. It does, the system itself, the backend and everything. You do set it up once, it works for you 24/7, and the only thing you need to do is just send people that way.
Amazing. And that's what we want. And it's also an interesting point you made, that sometimes people don't know what they don't know, right?
Yep.
If you are an insurance person or a gym or something, and you're really focused on your industry, and you're the best at knowing the best gym equipment and answering the phones and customer service and physical fitness, and like you're a really good leader of people, oh, that's great. But then you can't know everything. And that's why really cool guys like Alex Thoric and his team can get your CRM figured out, get your traffic figured out, your content, your social media, all these things that it's just like, and it's always changing and it's always evolving. And so it makes a lot of sense to focus on your own business and what you do great and have Alex and Building Income on Demand multiply what you do and create this consistent, predictable sales machine. So that way you get clients coming in, you have the autopilot figured out. And so if someone says, hey, like, this is something that I need in my business, I want to go check it out. How do they take the next step? Where do they go?
They can go to our website, buildingincomeondemand.com. They can check out the resources. We have lots of different free resources. They can actually download a 9-step roadmap that I mentioned earlier during the interview. So they can see what the process looks like. They can implement it themselves and start automating their business.
Very nice. And you know what, Alex? I have to remind myself almost every day how important it is to always be learning something. And especially if it's a big, scary idea, or it's like, oh my gosh, how will I ever get all this stuff in place? Well, start somewhere and at least start learning about it, right?
Yep.
It's like if you want to buy a Ferrari, like start learning about a Ferrari. You don't have to make any commitment. If you want to go to school and become a math teacher, like start learning about like what schools you could attend, like take that first step and just kind of learn and be curious about it and get excited about the future. And so the place to do that, to get excited, is go to buildingincomeondemand.com. And this is a place where entrepreneurs can find everything in one place related to marketing, systems, automation, sales, and mindset, as well as ways to invest in your business. So go there right now, buildingincomeondemand.com. You can see the blog, a podcast, case studies. You can get that 9-part roadmap and so much more. So that way you can be on your way to having this business that you really need to have your business set this way in order to keep up with the times and in order to just not make things so hard on yourself. Imagine if the clients just flowed in, as Alex mentioned. And so buildingincomeondemand.com is the place to go. But before I let you go, Alex, it's time to put you on the spot a little bit and ask you about a fun quote or lesson that can really help us and send us on our way. So does anything come to mind as far as an exciting, inspiring quote or lesson?
Yeah, of course. I actually do have one. I always have it on my wall. So it says, "A river cuts through rock not because of its power, but because of its persistence."
I like it.
Yeah, I saw this quote a couple of years ago. It's not that maybe famous, but it makes so much sense because it doesn't matter what happens in your life, in your business, in your life in general. You just keep going.
I agree completely. Figure it out. Just get going. Just get started. And the next step for you to get started is by going to buildingincomeondemand.com. We will see you there. And thank you very much, Alex, for stopping by, sharing us some cool stories, tips, and advice, lessons. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.